Okay, I am so excited to chat today because we're right in the middle of our Etsy 101 series where I'm breaking down the basics of selling on Etsy for those who are just starting out on their Etsy selling journey. So far, we've covered a lot of awesome topics in the series, but I'm extra pumped about today's conversation because we're talking about how to rank in the Etsy search. Ranking high in the Etsy search results is absolutely crucial to be discovered and make consistent sales. If you can't get your listings ranking high, chances are your shop is just going to be buried beneath hundreds, maybe thousands of other listings, and it's going to be really hard for you to break through on the platform. You're in the right place though, friend, because today I'm laying out exactly how the Etsy algorithm works to rank listings and what you can do to best optimize your listings in your shop to be found and ranked on the first few pages of those search results. Let's get into it. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So glad you're here. If this is our first time meeting, I'm Kate. I'm a wife, mom, Etsy seller, and business coach, and I'm here to help you start and scale your online business so that you can make a full-time income doing what you love. Like I mentioned before, we're right in the middle of our Etsy 101 series, and some of the topics we've previously covered in the series are types of products you can sell on Etsy, Etsy seller fees, and the different elements that make up a shop and an individual listing. So if you're interested in any of those videos, I'll have the Etsy 101 series playlist linked in the description box below. You can click on that if you missed any of those previous videos, but today we're talking all about ranking in the search results. Of course, you have the option to pay for Etsy ads if you have a little bit of a budget to use paid advertising, but I'm a big fan of using smart strategy to get your listings organically ranking so that you're not having to depend on those paid ads. Research has shown that shoppers on the platform don't tend to look past even just the second page of search results. When they've typed in something that they're looking for, they'll skim through the first and second pages, and that's pretty much it. Very rarely does anyone look beyond the second page. So you want your listings to be showing up on that first or second page when the shopper types in a keyword phrase that's relevant to what you're selling. Etsy has a really advanced algorithm that ranks listings highest that it feels like are most relevant for that specific shopper and what they typed in. The ones that the algorithm considers most relevant and most likely to be purchased by that shopper are going to be shown highest up in the results. So here's the thing. As sellers, we have to be smart about how we use SEO or search engine optimization to really optimize our listings and give them the best chance to be ranked high up in those search results. If you know how the algorithm goes about the ranking process, then you can use that information to best optimize your listings to be discovered and found organically on the platform. So the Etsy algorithm works in two phases: query matching and ranking. So that first phase of query matching is where the shopper types in a specific keyword or keyword phrase into that search bar, and then the algorithm scans all of the listings from all of the shops on Etsy to determine which ones are a match for what that shopper typed in or the query, and which ones are eligible to even be shown anywhere in those search results. So for instance, if the shopper typed in leather journal, then something totally random like a metal lamp is not going to be considered eligible to be shown because it's not a match for that shopper's query. Now, there are specific places within the listing itself that the algorithm uses to scan that listing to look for matching keywords and keyword phrases. These elements of the listing that the algorithm scans are the title, the tag section, the categories, the attributes, and the listing description. Those 5 sections of the listing are the ones that are really important to be weaving your keyword phrases in, and hopefully you've done some research ahead of time to figure out what those highly searched keyword phrases are. More on that in just a minute, but hopefully you've done that research so you can weave in those keyword phrases so that when the algorithm is going through that first phase of query matching, it'll see your keyword phrase and it'll match it to the right shoppers and what they've typed into the search bar. Now, once it's gone through that first phase of query matching, it's determined which listings across the board are eligible to be shown as a match. Then it goes on to the second phase, which is ranking. This is the process the algorithm goes through to determine out of those eligible matching listings, what order they should be ranked in terms of relevancy to show the shopper the most relevant ones that are most likely to be purchased first on those first few pages. There are 7 ranking factors that Etsy uses to go through this ranking process and determine which listings are most relevant for that shopper. Like I said before, when you know what these 7 factors are, then you can best optimize and position your listings while you're creating them to have the best chance to be discovered and shown high up in the search results. So let's talk about what these 7 ranking factors are. Number 1 is relevancy. The listings that use keyword phrases that are an exact wording match to what the shopper typed in or their query that they typed in are going to be considered more relevant and shown higher up. So an example of this might be two sellers that offer the same type of pet mug with a dog picture on it, right? But one listing might have a title that says funny pet mug, and one listing might have a title that says funny dog mug. If the shopper actually typed in funny dog mug, then the one that has that specific wording in the title or the tags, the description, all of those different areas we mentioned before for the listing, that listing is going to be considered more relevant than the one that says funny pet mug, just because it was more of an exact match in wording, even though they might be the exact same mug. This is where that research that I mentioned before comes into play. You can do research on Etsy specific tools that will show you which phrases are more highly searched on the platform and use those to plug into your listing to meet the demand of what is actually being searched on Etsy. My favorite tool for doing this kind of research is Sales Samurai. If you've been around this channel for any length of time, you've probably heard me talk about Sales Samurai, but it's a great tool that is Etsy specific, and it has the keyword research functionality as well as several different features for Etsy sellers. So if you're interested in trying out Sales Samurai, I'll have the free trial for that linked in the description box below. But that's an example of a tool you can use to find those highly searched keyword phrases. All right, ranking factor number 2 is your listing quality score. This is how often the listing actually converts from a view into a sale, or the conversion rate. Very simply put, the higher the conversion rate and the more sales that are stacking on that specific listing, the higher listing quality score it'll have, therefore boosting it in the search results. Every new listing starts out with a neutral listing quality score until Etsy has the time to determine what that score should be based on the interactions that people have with the listing. Now, you may be wondering, well, how do I start to boost that score in the beginning if I'm just starting out and I don't have many sales on my listings? How do I drive traffic to start that sales stacking? And that's a great question. I actually have a whole masterclass where I teach my specific system that I use for starting to get those initial sales, starting to sales stack and boost that listing quality score to be ranked higher in the search results. So if you're interested in watching that free training class, I'll have it linked in the description box below, or you can go to etsymasterclass.com. Again, that's 60 minutes of my more advanced free training for you. That's definitely going to help you as you get started on your Etsy journey. So I would totally recommend that you check that out after watching this video. Okay, ranking factor number 3 is recency. This is how recently an item was either listed or renewed. So how this plays into ranking is that new or newly renewed listings get a small temporary boost in the search, mainly for the purpose of determining what that listing quality score should be when it's still neutral in the beginning. Etsy gives those listings a temporary slight boost in the search results just to start getting some interaction on those listings to determine more quickly what that listing quality score should start out as. Now, it might be tempting to think, well, I'll just constantly renew and constantly be creating new listings to capitalize on this recency factor, right? And although there is some truth to it having a very small temporary boost, Etsy has said it's not enough to rely on that as its own strategy to start ranking in the search results. Just relying on recency alone and constantly renewing is not a great strategy in and of itself because it's only one small part of the whole ranking process. Moving on to ranking factor number 4, which is your customer and market experience score. Essentially, this is your shop's overall score. So where the listing quality score was for that specific listing, this one is an overall shop score, taking into account how well your shop is doing as a whole and how many positive experiences other people have had with your shop. There are a few different ways that you can boost this easily. Number 1 is by having more and more 5-star reviews. So definitely encourage your customers to leave you positive feedback if they were pleased with their purchase. And also having your about section and your policy section in your shop just filled out completely automatically gives that score a boost as well. There are a couple things that can also hurt the score in your shop, and that would be having any open cases against your shop or any intellectual property strikes against your shop. Having either of these is going to bring that shop score down and hurt you in the rankings. Okay, ranking factor number 5 is shipping. Etsy favors shops in the search results that offer a free shipping guarantee. So you can look up specifics about what this guarantee entails, but this is for people that spend over $35 in your shop. They get the free shipping guarantee, and you can choose as a shop if you want to offer this or not. Also, shops that offer free shipping to the US receive priority placement in the search results on the app for US shoppers and receive priority in Etsy's marketing campaigns. So Etsy does a ton of different marketing campaigns, everything from digital marketing like email marketing, social media, to TV ads. So they feature different shops and different listings in those marketing campaigns, and you'll have more of a chance to actually be chosen by Etsy to be featured in some of their marketing efforts if you offer that free shipping guarantee. Ranking factor number 6 is translations and language. This one's pretty clear cut. It just means that the titles and tags on your listing should be in the same language that your shop was originally set up in. You don't have to worry about translation or anything like that. Etsy automatically translates for buyers searching in other languages. So as long as your listing elements are in the same language as your shop is set up in, you should be good to go on this factor. And the next ranking factor is really interesting. It's shoppers' habits. So Etsy uses what's called context-specific ranking, where they actually take into account that specific shopper's search and purchase history to determine which listings they think would most likely be purchased by that shopper based on what they have purchased in the past. In this way, the search results actually look different for every single shopper and every single person that types in a query for the search. So if I type in leather bracelet, my search results and what pops up first for me are going to be different than if you typed in leather bracelet. Though we're typing in the same search query, that context-specific ranking is going to show us two different sets of results based on what we have each personally searched for and purchased in the past. All right, so those are the two phases of the algorithm: query matching and ranking, and then the 7 factors that go into the ranking process. Hopefully, now that you know the specifics of how the algorithm actually works, you can optimize your listings and be thinking about these things as you're going through creating your listings, getting those highly searched keywords into those important places like your title, your tags, your description, so that you can start to rank higher and show up first to actually be discovered and make those consistent sales. If you found this video helpful, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and don't forget to check out that 60-minute Etsy Success Masterclass. It's at etsymasterclass.com, also linked in the description box below, and you can click through it and watch that to learn my 5-pillar Etsy success formula, which is the exact system that I use to start making consistent sales and bring my shop to 6 figures. Bye, friends.